One of the major complaints I've seen regarding the Realm Rework is that dungeons are too rare. But another complaint I've seen is that dungeons are too common. So which is it? Today I'm going to go through a list of... Oh, the realm's already closed. Today I'm going to go through a list of all the dungeons that supposedly drop in the realm and see how easy they are to find. I have 2 minutes, so I can get the lowlands dungeons out of the way probably. Took about a minute to find Pirate Cave, so that's 1 out of the way. Forest Maze should be the same area, except the big enemies down instead of the small ones. Oh, well, there's the Hive. Okay, there's Forest Maze. That took a little bit longer, but still not very long. Spider Den and Forbidden Jungle are the last of the... Well, there's Spider Den. And Forbidden Jungle should be pretty easy. Teleport to this pylon right here and go this way. And here we are. So there's our Forbidden Jungle. That's all the rookie biomes out of the way. Let's go to the Adept biomes now, the ones that actually matter. For the first biome that I have on my list over here, I'll put this in the description so that you can access it. It gets updated regularly with new information as it's discovered. Okay, going to jump in because I don't think I explained it very well. I'm referencing the GHZD bestiary for all of the dungeon drops and potion drops and biome UT drops. It's linked in the description like I said. Is Dead Church, which has a dungeon drop appointed to pretty much every single enemy. I am on a 0-8 character because this is the character that you'd be looking for these dungeons on. So Kakekami still drops Manor. Most of the set piece bosses don't have a dungeon currently. These enemies do take a little while to clear. There's Ancient Ruins. There's Haunted Cemetery. There are so many Manor set pieces here. Even though this vampire can drop Manor, you probably would just be better off going for the Kagekamis. Well, there's the Manor anyways. Okay, here's the Death Knight. This one can drop Library, guaranteed. Though there are an awful lot of enemies here. Well, I can definitely say that, I can definitely say for this biome, there's definitely no problem getting the dungeons. Okay, that guy's defeated finally. I get a guaranteed potion. But also, ow! Let's move on to the Haunted Hallows now. I could get Abyss technically from here, but this isn't the Abyss biome, so I'm not too worried about getting it. Now this area has lots of biome drops set up for it. Pretty much every enemy drops a different dungeon. There's Undead Lair from the little guys. Another Undead Lair. So Undead Lair is very easy to get here from these little bone guys. Ghost Gods can still give Undead Lairs as well, but the bone guys are more common and also don't have health, so they're probably better to look for Undead Lairs. Or you get another Undead Lair from 2 Ghost Gods in a row. That's probably just lucky. There's another Undead Lair, so this biome's great for Undead Lairs. Haven't seen anything besides an Undead Lair yet, of course. Another Undead Lair. Wow. Another Undead Lair. Wow. Okay, finally something other than an Undead Lair. There's a Cursed Library. And of course all these enemies are the Undead Lair ones. There's 2 more Undead Lairs, in case I didn't have enough of those already. There's another Undead Lair, by the way. Those ones drop 2 Undead Lairs. At this point I might as well just log every single Undead Lair drop I see, just to communicate how incredibly common it is in this biome. Oh, there's a Mad Lab. Okay. Just need the Magic Woods now. Another Undead Lair. There's another one. There's one hidden behind the pumpkin. It's an Undead Lair, of course. Okay, there it is, Magic Woods. That took a little while. Although I got a lot of Undead Lairs, all the other ones for a pretty reasonable rate. It only took me a couple minutes to find the one I was looking for. Except Undead Lair, which I found so many of. I don't really mind that though. It makes sense for each biome to have one particularly common dungeon. Like the old realm had Sprite World. Okay, I'm back in the Dead Church because I do actually want to try and get that Abyss drop. Even on an Assassin, all the enemy spawns here are kind of obnoxious. It's getting healed by the Priest. That's not very good. Oh, there's our Abyss. Okay, get me out of here. I don't like this biome. Okay, Sprite Forest has a lot, I think, so if I can just clear my way. With the Sprite Gods, or with the Sprite Field enemies, you can pretty much tell which one's gonna drop which dungeon based on how it looks. Like, that's the old Sprite God, so it drops Sprite World. The dog doesn't look like it drops Snake Pit, but all the other ones are pretty much color-coded to which dungeon they drop. There's a Snake Pit. I might actually activate this beacon just so that I have this in case I need to Nexus. Okay. Beacon is active. Immediately somebody teleports to it. They were just waiting. BB Smooth is gonna take my realm? Even in the new realm, I can't get away from people taking every single one of my realms. It could just be the lack of a super common Undead Lair drop, but I don't think I'm seeing as many dungeons in this biome than I was in the Haunted Hallows. Or even the Dead Church. The Dead Church had a decent amount as well, but other than the occasional Snake Pit, I haven't really seen anything. 2 of the 3 set pieces here are guaranteed to drop Sprite World though, so Sprite World is probably the main dungeon for this biome. Okay, Toxic Sewers. These guys here drop it because they look like they're Toxic Sewers colored. Okay, there's Mad Lab. This realm now has many more people, so I assume BB Smooth's gang has rolled up. Here's one of the set pieces. It drops a Sprite World. I'll fight it. No, I won't. I don't care. I already got a Sprite World drop. There's Puppet. Okay. Just like one more, which it happens to be Magic Woods from this guy. Oh, I also need Abyss from the orange guy. Another Puppet. So I could have just been getting unlucky earlier. That's always a possibility. Another Puppet. It's all just luck, I guess. There's Magic Woods, so hey. Okay, there's the Abyss. That was actually really easy. Every dungeon here is a repeat dungeon except the Cave of 1,000 Treasures, which I've already established is pretty much the common biome for this, or the common dungeon for this biome, since the little ghosts that spawn in groups drop it, although this biome does have a particularly large amount of the little guys that spawn in groups. Yeah, look at all the Cave of 1,000 Treasures guys. There's a lot of them here. Of course, I haven't gotten one yet, so maybe it's not as common as I thought it would be. That's okay. Here's our ancient ruins. There's an undead lair. Okay. There's the Magic Woods. Is it Skin Hunter? No. For the T-Cave drop, I think I'm just getting unlucky. I swear it's not that rare. There's the Puppet, so we just need the Treasure Cave now. There we go. Finally got it. But of course, since I'm a professional, I'm going to write this off as me being unlucky and continue to say that this is a common dungeon. Fortunately for me, the next biome on the list is actually Coral Reefs, which is right here. You know, I'm not seeing very many enemies in the Coral Reefs. It feels pretty empty. There's a couple down here. It could be that there's just more of them cleared out. Leviathan does not have a listed dungeon drop, so I doubt it still gives Puppet. Okay, it just gave a Puppet. Okay, here's all of the Coral Reefs enemies. I found them. They're hiding down here. There's a snake pit, and there's a toxic sewer from the octopus. So every single thing here also drops a dungeon, which is good. I like everything dropping dungeons because that means easier dungeons to find. There's a wisdom. Even in the Coral Reefs, I'm getting a bit of the excessive undead layers of the Haunted Hallows. BB Smooth is back. Is he gonna open another Oryx 3? I sure hope not, because I'm trying to get dungeon drops over here. I still got 2 Adept biomes after this, and all the veteran biomes. I am not getting dungeon drops from the Coral Reefs though, let me tell you. There is an Idarian Reef here from the turtles. I haven't seen it dropped, but other than that, every single dungeon you can find here is more common elsewhere. Okay, there's the Cave of 1,000 Treasures from the Narwhal, so I just called it, whatever. I have to stand here now legally. And here's the Idarian Reef. Just need the Sprite World from the Walrus now, and then we're out of here. Oh, there's Dots in chat, so BB Smooth is definitely doing another Oryx 3. There's just no escape from these runs, I tell you. Another treasure cave. I didn't get that one. Oh, look at all these dungeons. I'm gonna stay with this person because they're lucky. They're gonna get the dungeon drops for me. This does just go to show the frequency of the dungeon drops is still heavily reliant on luck. Even though I'm barely getting dungeons from the Coral Reefs, this person's getting so many dungeons. It's all about luck. Except for undead layers in the Haunted Hallows, because there you go, BB Spoon just called one in chat. At this point, I've been in the Coral Reefs more than any of the other biomes. It might get to the point where I just give up eventually, since there's already better ways to find Sprite World than this, and I'd like to move the video along at a pace that isn't terrible. Oh wait, this is a new realm, so I have to activate the beacons. At that point, I might as well just continue clearing until there's a Risen Hell beacon. Oh, there it is! The Sprite World from the Walrus. It's real. That took far longer than anything else so far. So here, once again, pretty much everything has an assigned dungeon drop. You can get Lair of Shaitan in this dungeon, otherwise everything's a repeat. This is the enemy that drops Lair of Shaitan, in case it wasn't obvious. Alright, Abyss from the Red Demon, or White Demon. Sorry. The Red Demon also drops Abyss, though. That is a specific concern that I've heard about the Realm Rework with the dungeon drops, is that there are more mana dropping enemies in the Risen Hell than there are Abyss dropping enemies, which is really weird. There's also the Red Demon, which I don't know if it's a guaranteed Abyss of demons from the Red Demon. There's 2 Sprite Worlds. It probably is guaranteed though, which would make sense because it's, you know, Red Demon. Okay, these skeleton guys are the ones that drop Undead Lair. They don't look like they drop Undead Lair. You'd think they drop Abyss of Demons. But no, they drop Undead Lair for some reason. I guess because they kind of look like skeletons. So the drops here are much more reasonable than Coral Reefs, I would say. Or I just got really unlucky in Coral Reefs. But it did take a while for Coral Reefs to get updated with dungeons on the page. 2 dragons, 3 dragons. These enemies are kind of rare, but I just found 3 altogether. And let me tell you, 3 dragons altogether, kind of hard to fight. It looks like they have 1 line of only 1 projectile, and then 1 line of 2 and 1 line of 3. That's neat, I guess. The dragon's so big, I would have assumed it would have very high drop chance for the cemetery, but haven't seen it yet. Same with the Shaitan. This is like the one thing in the entire realm that drops Shaitan, so it would have to be a good rate. Just the Shaitan now. Well, the realm is closed again and BB Smooth is in it. So it's possible that this is another Oryx. I'm not going to stick around to find out, of course. I much prefer the consistency of Court of Oryx. Of course, nobody except me runs Court of Oryx, but I run Court of Oryx. And I know that it's a good source of getting the court dungeons you want, because it's consistent. You always find it at the end of the realm. You don't have to close several realms trying to find the set piece or encounter that you want. Or I could just be getting unlucky, but you can't just be getting unlucky with Court of Oryx. At the very least, I think it's a nice option to have. I can probably actually just check on Twitch to see if BB Smooth is still doing an Oryx 3. Yeah, he's doing beginner-friendly public Oryx 3s. Welcome back, Risen Hell. Also, I never actually got to show this one in my overview video because they cleared it immediately. Check it out! That's a beacon boss. And there is Garnet Blades. That's an upgrade. Will you drop the Shaitan today? No, of course not, but there's another undead lair from Haunted Hallows. Shaitan head, please. These enemies are not common. They're like kind of uncommon. At this rate, I'm gonna get the biome UT before I get the Shaitan drop. Though I'd assume that the biome UT is way rare. Look who it is! I'm not gonna go fight the Sigma werewolf today. I might go fight the Sigma werewolf today, actually. I'm gonna do that. I just need a change of pace. A little bit something that's not red for some moment of time. Hello, the tavern. Possessed Pumpkin. I'm not gonna leave for that. That's not the Sigma werewolf. Though I will say that Possessed Pumpkin drops Woodland Labyrinth, which I know is a dungeon that people like to run for the attack and vitality and leaf bow. Oh, another Sigma werewolf. Okay, well, I'm not gonna go fight this one. I mean, I'm probably not gonna go fight this one. I mean, so this realm's about to close, which means we will have gone an entire realm without seeing a Shaitan, even though we're looking for just Shaitan. There it is, finally. Okay, we got it before the realm went to Oryx. That was horrible, miserable, terrible, and Court of Oryx is better than farming for that. Holy moly, 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 moly. So this is Abandoned City. This is pretty much all the vanilla god drops. There's Ancient Ruins, though. 2 sources of Ancient Ruins, 1 source of everything else, except no library. Instead of library, you have Manor again. Why is it Manor again? Okay, well, there's both the Ancient Ruin drops from both the different enemies that can drop Ancient Ruins. There's Toxic Sewers. There is a Manor from a Beholder, which is a thing now, because Manor just needs to be a super common dungeon drop. It does actually make sense when you think about it, though, because Manor drops 1 potion type versus, there's Magic Woods, Library, which drops 2 potion types. So it makes sense, but we already have so many of the drop locations for Manor. It kind of hurts. Anyway, Undead Puppet Master's Theater. It's possible they buffed the Cave of 1,000 Treasures raid as well, which would be good. If we see a Cave of 1,000 Treasures, then we see one. If not, then we don't. There's Snake Pit. Oh, but there is one. Okay. I could try looking for a couple more Djinns. There is one thing I do want to show off, actually. There's a bunch of statues all around the middle of the abandoned city. This skull one has text on it for some reason. Well, for some reason being lore, of course. Alright, let's fight this, get a... Oh, we got one. Okay, well, there you go. Are you enjoying the show? Oh, well, refill your popcorn. You'll love this next part. We're going to the veteran biomes. There's a lot of dungeons to get here, apparently. According to this list, there's 2 possible dungeons you can get from the Kraken, which is the shark-looking thing. There's High-Tech Terror from the Submarine. Even with a max character, these enemies take significantly longer to clear out. Okay, there's Parasite from the Kraken. The other one it's supposed to drop is Nidarian Reef, but I don't buy it. I do not think they'd have 2 dungeon drops on 1 single enemy. There's another Parasite, so that seems to be the most common dungeon then. I do want to give a genuine effort to try and find every single dungeon, but I'm scared of the Floral Escape because I had farmed that one for dungeons before and barely gotten any. I don't have very high hopes for dungeon drops personally. There's a 3rd Parasite chamber, so those guys dropping Parasite seems somewhat reliable at least. I do not like the amount of runic tundra monsters I am seeing in the deep sea abyss. The squids here drop Ocean Trench, so there's an Ocean Trench right there. I did actually get one. Took a little while compared to the Adept biomes. At this point in the Adept biomes, I'd already found most of the dungeon drops. Here, well, there's Cursed Library from the Green Goblin. That's a runic tundra. And there's the Davy Jones's Locker. Okay, well, Lucky's turning around now. We've only got 2 more dungeons that can drop here. I still think it's a little too rare, because at this stage in the Adept biomes, you'd be finding lots of dungeons, just not necessarily the one you want. Here, I'm struggling to find dungeons at all, let alone the ones that I might want. If they did, say, an Ocean Trench event, and I wanted to do Ocean Trenches, it'd take me a while to find dungeons, and then they might not even be Ocean Trenches. Versus in the Adept biome, yeah, it took me a while to find Shaitan, but in that time, I found countless abysses and countless whatever else drops there, library, sprite worlds. There's also the speed at which you can clear to consider for the veteran biomes especially. On a sorcerer, you'd be clearing this a lot faster than I am with this summoner, or even just a summoner with different equipment you could probably clear a bit quicker. There's Ocean Trench from that big guy, so plenty of places to get Ocean Trench if you're looking for it, assuming that the big guys have better dungeon chances. Oh, Deadwater Docks from, I think that was the dog? Yeah, that was the dog from the snow place, the Runic Tundra. Another parasite. Can I get a Nidarian Reef at least? Like, I was having better Nidarian Reef luck in the coral reefs, and that's an easy biome. Okay, there's the Nidarian Reef. We found it. That took a little while. We just passed an hour of nothing but deep sea abyss, so I think that the third dimension drop is harder to get than the Shaitan drop. That's another Ocean Trench from one of the big Runic Tundra guys. I think those might actually be way better for Ocean Trench. Oh, yeah, I went back into the one that was almost closed. Well, that's a good... Almost stood on that. Okay, yeah, you know what? That's my stopping point for this biome. I gotta at least look at the other 4. But we've already seen a lot of Runic Tundra. This guy drops library. It's probably common. If it's not common, then why is it even here? Even if it is common, why is it here? That's library. Okay, well, there's Ice Cave. Oh, wait, there's third dimension from the little guys. There's another Deadwater Docks from the dogs. Yeah, you know what? Let's actually just move on. Not Floral Escape. Anything but Floral Escape. Carboniferous, sure. Here, we're supposed to find Tomb, Lair of Draconis, Thicket, Woodland Labyrinth, Sulphurous Wetlands, and Crawling Depths. So a lot of very desirable dungeons, actually. So the question is, will they actually drop? Well, there's a Woodland Labyrinth, but I didn't see it drop. This biome feels way more dangerous than the other 2, if I'm being completely honest. Here's the Dragonfly. The Dragonfly currently is actually guaranteed to drop Wetlands still. They removed the Crawling Depths being guaranteed from the Sting Spider, but for some reason, the Grand Dragonfly still guarantees a Wetlands. We could all learn a thing or two from Sulphurous Wetlands. Maybe not be as common. I called some friends to help clear this out. Hopefully, we find a couple of them. Because I haven't even seen anything besides Wetlands in here. We're not in a party. We went back to Beta Lumen. Oh, there it is! It happened! The third dimension from the Siren. Okay. So we continued to farm the Carboniferous for another half hour or so, but we barely got any dungeon drops, so I'm just gonna cut it out to save some time. This video is running pretty long anyways. Basically, Adept biome dungeons, pretty reasonable. I wouldn't change those except maybe make the Undead Lair and Haunted Hallows less common. And veteran biomes, those rates need to be increased. They're terribly rare. That's all. Goodbye.